This young man, homeless and disheveled, surrounded by a joint response team made up of 2 NYPD officers, a social worker, and a nurse. After protesting for several minutes, the handcuffs stay on, one of the many involuntary removals the Adams administration conducts on a weekly basis in the New York City subway system. After several minutes, the man is led out of the station, up to the street, and into a waiting ambulance.
So where is he going? He's going to Bellevue?
Headed to Bellevue Hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. Evaluations which often lead to an involuntary 72-hour psychiatric hold.
He didn't want to go.
Yeah, he did want to go.
The team's nurse going along for the ride.
There has been a pervasive misunderstanding of the law in New York.
Brian Stetton, the mayor's senior advisor on severe mental illness, says response teams perform about 130 involuntary removals a week under a broader interpretation of the prevailing legal standard that determines whether a person is a, quote, danger to themselves or others. It's a direct response to the public's palpable concern over innocent people being victimized above and below ground. From suspect Ramon Rivera, who police say fatally stabbed 3 innocent victims in unprovoked attacks across Manhattan, to Sebastian Cepeda, who's accused of walking out of a homeless shelter and then fatally setting a woman on fire as she slept on board an F train in Coney Island, Brooklyn.
To recognize that a person who cannot meet their basic needs for food, clothing, shelter, or medical care, those basic human needs, because of that mental illness interfering with their addressing those needs, that person's a danger to themselves, even if the risk to them is not imminent.
Under that broader interpretation, the response team also approached 63-year-old Daryl,
Well, I've been on speaker for a period of time, about 15, 20 years.
who was lucid, did not appear to be in any kind of mental health crisis, and told us he has access to a bed in a facility.
You don't like staying there?
I ain't dead. I get tired of staying in the house. I'm an ex-drug addict.
Daryl's preference, the warmth and anonymity of the subway system. The reality is both Daryl and the man who was involuntarily removed minutes earlier will likely be back down here in the subway system in a matter of days. A function, critics say, of what amounts to a revolving door of short-term treatment.
In the situations where, let's just say, this gentleman who you involuntarily removed is sent to a supportive housing environment, does not want to be in that environment, ends up coming back down here in the subway, and then disappears from this spot and is roaming the city, how do you catch up with that person?
No, so that's a great question, and I think what it comes down to is what you're describing is someone who actually is not ready for discharge from the hospital.
But am I wrong in saying that the system as it exists right now does discharge that person?
You're certainly correct that we've done that a lot historically.
In the worst cases, there are devastating consequences for a system's failure to find, keep track, and successfully help someone experiencing mental health issues. Stanton acknowledges it's a difficult situation.
One of the important pieces of how we're trying to change the culture of the system is to have it be understood by people making those decisions at hospitals, doctors who are deciding whether to retain or discharge a patient. It has to be about more than how they are presenting in that moment.